Let's go.
I respect it. It's been a long week.
Yeah.
I needed to
Yo,
pour
it's been a
something up.
long. The playoffs have been long. This is
Um,
crazy, yo.
let's jump into it just
Let's get right to it.
because I mean we got a lot to talk about, but also not at the same time.
Yeah. We know
Um,
where we're going.
we do know where we're going. So
We know where we're going.
I'm Johnell. I'm with my guy Matt Price, Cash Walken, and this is Heat Check powered by Designated Report. And we're right in the midst. We're
Oh,
in the middle of the NBA
literally.
playoffs, and I feel like we've gotten some surprises, especially as of late.
Whew.
Um, we have some injuries. We have some top seeds going down. We got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Um, so I actually want to start in the Western Conference.
Yep.
Um, the series was we had the Timberwolves versus the Golden State Warriors.
Yep.
We discussed it last week. Steph Curry went down with a hammy that he was nursing. They were hoping he might be back for game 6 and moving forward if it got that far. It did not. Anthony Edwards and them boys, they took care of business. They moved on to the next
Yeah.
round. Um, I guess first and foremost, with regards to, I mean, the Timberwolves are kind of where we thought they would be, right?
Right.
They had a subpar regular season, but we know who they are as a team, as a unit. And it feels like finally now, 82 plus games in the year, that they've
It's clicking.
finally hit their groove. Yeah, it's
They're clicking
finally
in.
clicking.
Yeah.
Julius Randle's playing much better than he had been earlier in the
Oh, yeah.
year. Anthony Edwards, obviously. But contributions across the board from everybody has them back in the Western Conference Finals. So I don't think we're super surprised by the Timberwolves. A little surprised that they were the 6th seed and they didn't play great during the regular season, but playoffs, completely different animal, different beast. Here they are in the Western Conference Finals. On the flip side, the Golden State Warriors, after the loss, Steve Kerr came out and he was like, "Hey, like if we were healthy, we genuinely believed we could have made a run at this." Um, Steph, obviously, the injury was big, and now I mean, it felt for a little bit that the Golden State Warriors were kind of moving in the direction of a rebuild.
Yeah.
Do you still believe that's the case, considering how the season ended? And, they acquired Jimmy Butler. It seems like they have the pieces in place to
Yeah.
be competitive. But, unceremoniously knocked out of the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
What does this mean going forward for the Golden State Warriors?
I don't think we're getting a rebuild, but we're certainly going to see a reset. Because, like you said, they have those pieces. And the way that Draymond and those guys like came off the court, like they hugged Steve Kerr, like Draymond said something to him. I don't know what he said, but it was like it was something of like we're bringing this back again. Like I think that this group it's probably it for them. I think that they'll do what they can in the free agent market, do what they can as far as trying to make a trade. But I think with Steph and Jimmy here now for for a full season next year and all of that putting that together, they're gonna have a full off season together to work. I think that we're looking at more at a reset because we know Steph still has plenty of good basketball left in him.
Absolutely.
Jimmy does too. I don't know. I think in this series was strange. I saw Jay Will on Get Upsets, our first take said this morning about like Jimmy Butler's playoff performance being kind of disappointing. Not the whole thing, but this series, his
Yeah.
performance in this series, and he said, they didn't for them to not get a game without Steph. Well, it was that's disappointing. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't like they were asking Jimmy to win the battle; they were just asking him to
We,
hold the line.
we've
And I
seen what
thought that
Jimmy
that
can do.
yeah, yeah. So I thought he was capable of at least getting another game off them, and there was a couple games that they had a chance, and they just couldn't push through. And he did not have that big game for scoring or just do one of those do it all Jimmy Butler classic games. And I
Yep.
feel like that hurt them. That was really kind of what all she wrote. in that series because as it went on game to game, exactly what like you said, Julius started to pick it up. He had a triple double in game three, uh, and scored over 20 in every game. You saw that Anthony Edwards just slowly but surely started to figure that thing out.
Yep.
He learned that it didn't have to be him scoring 40 and 35. He could draw attention and become more of a decoy for these other guys like McDaniels and Nas Reed. They even had Rudy Gobert as a rim running threat because they knew that the Warriors, didn't have that, that big, that real big guy. They got Looney. They had this young kid Quentin Post, but they didn't have like a formidable big to run with Rudy, and so they kind of ran the same thing that they did against the Lakers. They were just like, we're just gonna go super huge on you, and
Yep.
he forced Steve Kerr to change how they play, change his lineups, his rotations, everything. They kind of started dictating things down the stretch of that series, and I feel like that was the difference in the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a full rebuild. Jimmy's under contract; he'll be there. Steph's under contract; he'll be there. We'll see about Draymond, but yeah, I think that the core of those three veterans right there who know how to win and know how to get through playoffs, series and things like that, get in and out of them, healthy and together for a full season. I think they can make a run with the right supporting cast. So more of a reset than a rebuild.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, any team I feel like that is coached by Steve Kerr and has a Steph Curry on I automatically am going to believe in them. Again, not necessarily to win a championship, but they're going to be
Right.
competitive. They're going to be in the mix.
Exactly.
They're going to be a dangerous team.
Definitely.
A healthy Steph Curry, does that propel them to a win or to win the series? I don't know. I honestly don't think so. But maybe we go 6 games. Maybe we go 7 games if Steph is there, and potentially they pull it out. I just think it was. I don't want to say insurmountable, but it was a lot for the Warriors to try to overcome. And I do think it's different when Jimmy Butler, had they come into this series, and I know Jimmy Butler was sick. He was dealing with some off the court stuff just in terms of like his health. But I think it's a little different if you go into a series knowing, hey, Steph isn't going to be here. He's
Right,
hurt.
right.
Maybe
It
next
kind of it
series
came
he'll
out of
be
nowhere too.
available. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for it to happen in series where you've only got you know a couple of days of prep in between games, it
Yeah.
makes it a little more difficult when the focal point of your offense isn't there. Like you're switching
Yeah.
everything at that point.
Everything. Yeah.
So I do think that kind of played a part in it as well. But I'm with you.
Yeah.
I was down on the Warriors. They played great early in the year, and they were kind of up and down all year.
Yeah.
Um, but
They
they
had a
are,
stretch.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
had a couple stretches in the season where they started the season really good, then they kind of like evened out. Then they
Yep,
came back in January. They had a real good stretch through January, February, and then at the end of the season they kind of started tailing off again. But then they had a
yep,
peak again when they, after the Jimmy Butler trade. So yeah, yeah, like I said, I think they're in a good place. And yeah, there has to be something said about that for sure. To lose the guy that you put everything around in game one,
yeah,
and then have to say, all right, guys, we got to do everything different than we
yep.
game plan to do coming into the series.
So as far as the Timberwolves, tonight we're recording Thursday, May 15th. Tonight is OKC versus Denver. They are up. OKC's up 3-2 currently. So we don't know who the Timberwolves are going to play in the next round. But what are the Wolves' chances against whoever they play? And if you're on the Timberwolves, if you're a fan of the Timberwolves, do you have a preference in which team you would like to see in the Western Conference Finals?
So I just I think you want OKC, and I understand that this is going to sound crazy, but I just feel like Jokic is such a difficult guard for Rudy
You're
that
not
he can
wrong.
like take Rudy off the court, and Rudy is so important to everything that Minnesota is doing defensively. They're trending on one of the top defensive teams in these playoffs. statistically speaking. They're protecting the paint. They're not giving anything up. They're rebounding at a great clip. Like all their guys, down to down to Anthony Edwards, who's their shooting guard. He's averaging, I think, over like 4 or 5 rebounds. McDaniels has been getting rebounds over his season average. Like everybody's on the boards, and I think that just makes a huge difference with all the length and athleticism they have on that team. When Rudy's out there, patrolling the paint, so they're able to play more aggressively out on the
That's fair.
perimeter and not worry about if they get beat. So I think that that right there, and there's a lot of different ways that they can attack that too. Once Rudy's off the court, if you're playing with Jokic. So I think that Hartenstein, yeah, he could shoot threes and stuff like that, but he's not really their main offensive threat. He's gonna set screens. Rudy
Correct.
can play and pick and roll. He knows how to do all that stuff like that, and but then they're gonna shoot right down and drop back down to the paint. Hartenstein's not gonna play out in the mid range like that. So his main thing is gonna be defending that floater that Hartenstein likes to do, and just guarding the paint, making shots difficult for Shea and Jalen Williams. These guys love playing downhill on that team. They don't shoot a lot of threes, OKC. So having Rudy on the court is important to them, and I just think it's a better matchup for them as far as like the center matchup and what that would mean.
Fair point.
You
My
hate
initial
Rudy, I
thought,
know.
I
You're
don't
like,
like
that doesn't
Rudy
matter.
at all. I'm gonna go Denver. Would be the preferred matchup because uh, I just think OKC is so solid top to bottom,
Yeah,
including their starting five plus probably you
four or
could probably
five
go
guys off the
top
bench.
seven, maybe top
Yeah,
eight. Yeah. Whereas Denver, yes, you have a Jamal Murray, you have an Aaron Gordon, you have a Michael Porter. Like you have players on that team who can take over. They can win you a game.
yeah,
We've seen it a couple times in this playoffs, but I also feel like they're super streaky. So to you know, uh, if I'm the Timberwolves and we end up playing Denver, give Jokic, let him score 50. Give him 50 and 20. But as long
yeah,
as he's not getting triple doubles and getting everybody else involved, I think Denver is a much beatable team, a much more beatable team than OKC is, particularly at this point in the season. Um, I really like what Minnesota's doing, man. Like
yeah,
they, you know, they took the hard route. It was the regular season didn't go as planned, which may have worked in their benefit because now they're
yeah,
in a situation where it's like, hey, our guys are healthy, we're clicking at the right time, and I honestly I don't even know if it matters who they play at
yeah.
this point, but I think
I
I
don't think it
think
does.
Denver is the preferred matchup for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I think Denver can extend it tonight too. I think they can get it to 7.
I could absolutely
It's gonna
like
be hard,
that.
but I think they
That
can do it.
series, and we're not going to get too much into it.
No, no.
We'll kind of see what happens in that series. I can see it both ways. I mean, I can
Yeah.
absolutely see Denver rattling off 2 wins and moving on to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
I can
I
also
couldn't
see
tell you in this one.
OKC. Yeah, I could absolutely also see OKC coming out and scoring 140 points tonight
Yeah.
and blowing Denver out.
Yeah.
So
Both things
I'm
can be
interested
true.
to see. Yeah, I'm interested to see how tonight plays out because as we all know, a game 7, anything can happen.
Anything can
So
happen.
OKC, they're trying to take care of business tonight in Denver. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
That's it.
Um, let's jump over to the Eastern Conference. Um, we're gonna start off with that Indy. Bless you. We're gonna
That's
start off with that with that
allergies,
Indy
man.
Cleveland series. Yeah, I had a dentist appointment today, and
Crazy.
my hygienist, she was like, "Are you allergic to anything?" I was like, "Knock on wood, no." And I feel
Yeah.
bad for anybody who's dealing with allergies
Yeah, I'm
because
allergic to the air.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's terrible.
it sounds terrible. Um, so the Cavs were eliminated by the Indiana Pacers. Um, the most overrated player in the league, Tyrese Halliburton, he showed up every single night,
Every
and
night.
I do understand, and we've talked about this a little bit in the group chat. I do understand that Cleveland wasn't healthy. That Evan Mobley was out for a couple games, Darius Garland was out for a couple games. I get all that.
Yeah,
You're also the number one seed in the league. You were the best team, literally start to finish during the regular season.
yeah,
I expected more, and Indiana, they overcame, I think, a 19-point deficit in the previous game, and then in the closeout game, I think it was like 20 points or something like that.
yeah.
So like,
They
it's
came back like
not
every
that.
game.
Yeah, it's not like Cleveland got run out the gym by the
Yeah,
Pacers, and because their players were hurt or anything like that. They blew these games, in my opinion. And
yes,
we talked about the game winner that Tyrese hit earlier in the series
yep,
last week. Um, so I guess the first question is, we had questions about the Cavs all year this year. As great as their record showed, it just felt like there was something missing.
yeah,
I don't know what it was, but there was just a feel like, I don't know that this is their year, regardless of how good they were in the regular season. Um, what does this mean for the Cavs moving forward? They're eliminated. We saw Donovan Mitchell. He was broken up about the whole thing. He was like, I haven't slept in 2 days. I'm here. I watched the game back to back to see what we could have did. And what happens from here? Do they just grow? Like, is this just a learning experience and they're going to
yeah,
grow from here? Or is it like this was their opportunity and now
yeah.
things are going to kind of change?
I mean, they're going to be a good team again next year. They're going to win a lot of games again next year. But it doesn't. It really won't matter until we get to this time next year again, and they are here in this position again next year to finish it. Honestly, that's the thing. It's like you're climbing all the way to the top, and then, on your way, you can see the top. You're halfway there, and then they're like, "Nah, go back down." That's how it is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that, and that's deflating. So I can feel what he's going through. And then like, yeah, none of what they do next year will mean anything until they get over this hump. Donovan Mitchell specifically. Now he had some great games,
Yep.
but look, they built this thing for him. They put this team together to add players and positions and body types that support the things that Donovan Mitchell are his few weaknesses that he has as a player. They got these two long-bodied centers that were abused by a team that's really not even that physical like that. Then
Yeah.
they got these two small guards, and they let T.J. McConnell and freaking all these and Halliburton pick them up full court and just tire them out and run them out of the gym every night, especially when they were going down on these big leads.
Yep.
That those are things that they have to get over. You got to be what do you have to do, Donovan? Like you got to be better conditioned for the playoffs. You guys got to start, you know, learning that okay, this when the shots aren't falling, your fastball's not working. Let me, see what my changeup
Say the
does. Let me
change up.
see what the
Yep.
curve does. You know what I'm saying? They don't. You gotta switch it up, and they just kept shooting themselves out of games every game, and that's how we got here. Like Max Struess, I can't even think of who out of all the players on that team had a worse series than Max Struess. He was terrible.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hunter, they
Yeah.
made that midseason trade for him, again to strengthen their defense, to get some more wing players, to be able to match up against a team like Boston, hopefully in the conference finals, so they could get to a finals. They didn't even make it there. He didn't give them all that much, at least not as much as he gave them during the regular season. So it's just an all out, flat out failure. What do? You come back and you do what you're supposed to do. You do what everybody thinks you're capable of doing. There's no trick. There's no secret to it. Just go out and play good basketball. And I don't know where you got to get yourself mentally to do that. Darius Garland literally pissed down his legs in that final game. That was like it was terrible. It was terrible.
So
He
let
was
me
like
ask.
0 for 8 from 3 or something like that. I mean, just 0 for 6, I think it was. He was just very just not convincing enough. That not championship level basketball from them.
So let me ask you this, because again, we've talked about this a little bit in the group chat. So we under like the Cavs were great all season, regular season. They got to the playoffs, they
Right.
got to this round, and they had injuries. Does that play any role in like your thoughts of the season? You said it's a failure, and I don't disagree, quite frankly.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
do the injuries play a role in that?
Of course, they play a role, but they play a small role, in my opinion. Like, I mean, it's like you've played all season. You won 64 games. The guys weren't. They didn't have a single player play 82 straight. I don't think on their team. Everybody missed
That's true.
sometime. So
That's
and you
true.
won 64 out of 82 games. So why can't you win 4 out of 7 against a team that you beat all year? You're better than them. You have a better team than them. You're better on paper. You had a better record than them. You were a heavy favorite in this series, and you didn't get it done. And that is, that's a gut check really more than anything. It's all mental at this point. It's all mental at this
Yeah.
point. I don't
Yeah.
think that there's anything physically more they need to do. This team is exactly what's coming back next year. They're not gonna be much changes to that roster. Maybe they take a couple calls on Darius Garland or something like that to see. Maybe try to switch up that point guard and maybe try to bring in somebody more defensive. We'll see how other things play out. I don't know. That might be the only thing. Maybe they take a call on that. Maybe they take a call on Jared Allen and say, "Hey, we love how he plays, but maybe we need more big physical type center that doesn't get pushed around so much, against the guys who are physical." So there's moves out there to make for sure, but I don't think they're going to make them. I think that they're satisfied with what they did this season, and they think that they can eventually put this team could eventually get through. It just wasn't their year, and that's what it is.
I don't know, man. It's again throughout the year.
This was their best shot. Their best shot, though. That's what I feel.
Yes.
I feel like
I mean,
everybody's gonna get better. Detroit is coming. Orlando's gonna
yeah.
come soon enough.
Yeah.
Like they're getting better and better every single year.
Orlando was hurt this
Uh,
year. Yeah.
exactly. Then you got Philadelphia. They're gonna be back in the mix again next year. The
No.
Pacers.
No.
They're beating them. You don't think so? I think
Philly.
so.
No. I don't trust
I think
Philly
that I
ever.
think they get back in the mix. They have Maxi, and Maxi is who you go around, and hopefully Embiid needs to be all right. We'll see. And I think they get back in the mix, at least somewhere in the mix, 5, 6, or whatever. And with that dude, you know what I mean? They can make something happen. Well, they'll be
Yeah.
forgotten, but still.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it pans out. I tend to agree with you in terms of the team being relatively the same, like
Yeah,
the core, the 4 or 5 of the starters. I don't think they're going anywhere. Do they try to bolster the bench? Do they try to tinker with rotations or whatever? Potentially. I mean, we'll see. But um, just throughout the year, it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, record wise, they're a very good team. But when you
yeah,
watch them, it was just like there's something missing, like, and as we know, the first 82 games of the year, the player like they don't really care in the NBA. Like once we get to the playoffs,
yeah,
things they ratchet it up, things get a little bit
yeah,
tighter, and I think that was the concern with the Cavs going into the playoffs. It's like
yeah.
we get it. We get it. You guys are a great team. How does that translate into the playoffs? And I get the injuries, I get this, I get that. It's it's not surprising what happened. Honestly, I thought they
Exactly.
would win. I thought they should win. It didn't. I'm not surprised that they did not
They-
beat the Indiana Pacers.
exactly. Exactly. I knew they weren't going to make a championship. That's why I didn't pick them. But I didn't think that I thought they would at least make it to the next round. Donovan Mitchell has made the playoffs every year
Every year.
since he's been in the
Yeah.
NBA, and he's never made a conference final. He's had this was the second or third 1 seed he's been on. He did it twice, or once or twice in Utah, I think.
Yeah.
And
No,
I think that
it's
year they got knocked out in the second round. Yeah, second round. Yeah, you
so
gotta get over this hump. That's gonna haunt him for his career if he doesn't get over this hump.
and the crazy thing is, love Donovan Mitchell as a player.
Love him as a
Um,
player.
I also am very conflicted on him as a player.
Yeah,
Like as great as he is, I
as a
know he can
lead,
do.
right?
Yeah,
As a
like
lead, yeah,
I know he can do every single thing that you need him to do on a court, but I feel like I'm just not as high on him as a lot of other people are. Like
yeah,
he's a great player, but
yeah,
exactly to your point, as a lead, as the number one on a team, I just don't see it. I don't see him leading a team to the conference finals, to the finals, to a championship. I
yeah,
just don't see it. I can see him
Yeah,
being a 1A, or I mean a
me
1B.
too.
I can see
Yeah,
him being a second option, but as
yeah,
the guy on a team, I don't see it. I haven't seen it.
yeah. At this point, I feel exactly. At this point, I feel like we have seen quite enough to make that assumption that hey, maybe this guy needs to play alongside of somebody else. Instead of being the number one. And I guess the only way they could do that is they got to count on Evan Mobley to just really take it to the next level and play through him moving forward. I mean, he's an All Star this year. He's going to be All NBA, third team or something like that. Maybe one of those. If he can do that every year, then I think that's an option. I mean, he's got the body type. He has the skill set on offense. You can play through him at all three levels. He's shooting the three a lot better this year. I think
Yep.
that's an idea. You can play through your big guy, old school style. Yes, you can still shoot your threes, but it'll be off of collapses on the defense into the paint and kickouts instead of literally five out, ball swing, screen, ball swing, three from somebody.
Yeah.
And the ball really never touches the paint unless it's on a rebound, off a ricochet missed three. That I just don't think that I know what the analytics are saying, and I know there's a lot of teams going this way, but I just don't think it's sustainable, especially in the playoffs when the pressure picks up and guys are actually playing defense. It's
Yeah.
hard to do. The shots get a lot tougher to make when the guys are closing out hard on every single one.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Um, Pacers, before we move on from this series, they're either going to play Boston or the Knicks
Yeah,
next series or next round. How do you think they fare? Again, we don't know who they're going to play right now,
yeah.
but against whoever, do you think they legitimately have a chance to get to the
They
finals
definitely have a
this year?
chance. They're playing great basketball. I saw hater Brian Windhorst had said it. They're now 42-16 since January 1st. That's like
That's
they'd be a one seed.
crazy.
42 and
Yeah,
16 in the second half of the season. So
that's
they're one
wild.
seed. Like they had just as good a record as anybody else. I think that was an NBA best. They was even better than Cleveland, better than OKC. Their record was crazy and from that point forward. So yeah, they can beat anybody. They play a very frenetic and up, like high pace, and very high energy style. And yeah, I think that can present problems to anybody. The Knicks, because they play such a short-handed roster, like they have players that could play, but Tibbs only plays six or seven guys a night,
Hmm.
and especially in the playoffs. So I think that could prove for some problems if a series goes into 5, 6, 7 games. Run all that running, and as I mentioned with Cleveland, like what they do, they pick you up full court. So the
Yeah,
guards, Jalen, he's going to be working hard. They're going to be physical with him, hacking them, pushing them, cutting them off, kneeing them in the thighs, like all that stuff. Wear and tear over time could, that could, help Indiana win a series against Boston. If Boston wants to get through, I think that they can handle it. I think they can handle it because they both play similar styles, and but Boston is missing one of their most important pieces. So
yeah,
I think that as long as the Pacers are healthy, they're going to be all right. But
that's
yeah,
fair.
I do think they have a legitimate chance.
Yeah, I was not down on the Pacers, but they're not a sexy pick in my opinion.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah,
like Tyrese Halliburton, he's
corny.
good. Don't get me wrong,
He's
but
good, but he's corny. It's like there goes into being a superstar, man. Like if we don't like you personally, like Ant Edwards, he is a like I don't know him personally, but I would like to know him personally.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think
yeah,
I would like if I had the opportunity to go to dinner with Tyrese Halliburton. There's something about him that I just like. Nah, I just won't do it. I'm like I'm
yeah.
straight,
That's
bro. They be like, yo, but it's one of the Michelin star restaurants. I'm like, I'm straight. I'm just gonna go to Pippa's. I'm straight. I'm a sick around here.
yo.
You know what I mean? I'm good. I'll do anything.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to Subway instead. I'm
wild, wildly
just
disrespectful.
saying. It's not though. Like I don't know. I mean, I don't know him. I don't know him, but I don't know. I don't want to know him. And I'm just
Yeah,
looking like the young players. Like that's what I mean. Like even LaMelo Ball. Like he's gonna be lit. Like he strikes me as a person who got a personality. Like I want to be
yeah,
around this energy. I like that. Tyrese Halliburton, it just don't seem genuine. And I think the players knew that. They're like, yo,
Maybe,
he's like a fair weather player. He only talks when
maybe,
the things are going
maybe.
good, but when he getting his ass whooped, you can't even find him. It's like I don't like that. I like even. I like even.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, so we're good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. Can the Pacers get to the finals? Absolutely. Just with again, operating in a vacuum, assuming everybody's healthy, they've been playing some of the best ball we've seen, as you mentioned, since January.
Oh yeah,
So can they get there? Absolutely. I do feel like at some point their luck's going to run out. Maybe
yeah,
that's a hope. I don't know, because
yeah,
again, Halliburton and them boys, they're kind of annoying
yeah.
in my.
You just
They're
never know, man.
yeah, yeah,
Pascal
yeah, yeah,
Siakam, shout out to him. They've gotten again great contributions from guys who did not give great contributions in the regular season. Aaron Neesmith, I think, averaged like 22 points a game in this series. Andrew Nemhard, we talked about him last week.
yeah.
He's
Yes,
like a whole like he's. I want him tested. Something's up with that. Like, and then T.J. McConnell like finds his nuts too in the playoff, and he's like the toughest guy ever. He's out there like I don't even know who like from old white 1950s 60s Boston Celtics type white player. Like that's how he plays defense. Like he's just like
yeah.
all up in your face, like yeah yeah. Like he finds that. I mean, it's just they're annoying as an entire roster. They're annoying.
As a unit,
Ben as a unit, they're annoying. Miles Turner, he acts tough, but he wears like high water pants. It's
and plays with
crazy. And
Legos.
like yeah, and neck scarves. He plays with Legos. Like you're not a gangster. So stop talking like that. And then
Fair
Pascal,
enough.
I like him though. I like Pascal. His style,
I do like
his
Pascal.
game
Yeah,
style is smooth. I like his game. He just go out there, show up, beat everybody, and then get out of there. You know, what I mean, he not, he's not. He plays with good energy, but it's not like that type of energy, like that
yeah,
cocky energy. It's just like he's like hyped that he made a shot, hyped that he got an and one, hype. But that's what the type of things you're supposed to get hyped up about.
absolutely.
I don't know. This guy, he just, I don't know. There's the rest of them. I could do without him. But they're good
Um,
players. They are good players. I give
they are,
respect to them in that regard.
they are, they are, they are. Let's jump over to the other series. Boston Knicks. It's 3-2 Knicks currently. Um, I've been very vocal about my dislike for Jason Tatum. Never want to see an injury. You
Never.
and me have both torn our Achilles, so we know exactly
Yes.
how that man is feeling.
Oh,
Um, so that sucks. Honestly, I again put everything else aside. Hate to
yeah.
see injuries.
Yeah.
Hoping Jason Tatum has a speedy recovery and he's back
Seriously.
sooner than what they're
I hope he can
anticipating.
at least try to get a couple games before the end of next season. Was maybe
Yeah,
he's young still, so his
he might
recovery they're
recover
going to be
quick.
working on every day. The fact that they
Yeah,
went like within 12 hours
immediately.
surgery,
Yeah,
like immediate surgery, I was like, does that mean it was worse, or they're like just ready to? He was ready to like let's go, let's get the rehab right now. Like,
yeah.
I
Yeah, I
thought
don't
that was
know.
crazy. Like Shams
Yeah,
reported, he's like Jason Tatum does have a like it was all in one. It was like he did have a torn Achilles. He's already had surgery and he's recovering
yep,
now. Like I was like, damn, they
yeah,
did it all
yeah,
already.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, speedy recovery, Jason.
Yeah,
You know
crazy. I
the
knew on the
league's
first
better with
replay.
you. Yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
And again, like we've been through it, but immediately you saw it. You
yeah.
saw him grab his ankle, and it's
First
like, yeah,
replay, he
yeah,
grabbed like that's what I'm saying. Like somebody kicked me. I'm telling you, that's the
yep,
same thing I did. I was going for a loose ball just like that, and I was like, somebody kicked me. I screamed that out loud, and I was like, nobody was even there. I was like,
yeah.
I was like,
It,
nobody was there. I was just holding
so
it. J. Cole was there. He was like, I was like, it's my ankle. And he was like, nah, that was your Achilles.
yeah,
He could tell by the
yeah.
pop. He
The
could
funny
tell by
thing
the sound.
is,
It was crazy.
I could hear him saying that,
Yeah, he's like,
like
nah,
nah,
that
it's
was
not
your
that's not
Achilles.
your ankle.
I was like, nah, it's my
uh,
ankle. My ankle hurts. He said, try to move it. I was like, I can't move it. He's like, yeah, that's your Achilles.
yeah, not a, like very similar story. Just for me, I was playing. I'm in gym class. We're playing pickup. I got a rebound off the front of the rim, and I went to go to start the fast break. I took maybe two steps and fell, and like I hit the ground. I turned around like, yo, like who kicked me?
Yo,
Nobody was
yeah,
near me, and I tried to
yeah,
get up and like walk it off. I was like, yo, I was like, there's something wrong. Like it just felt like I
yeah,
had no feeling in
yeah.
my in my heel. I was like,
My
there's something
whole, yeah.
wrong.
whole area just on fire.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't feel it, but I was feeling something. Like it hurt. It was like the most. If I could just like JT was on the ground, like spinning around. Because if I could describe like that initial snap, like that might be the most excruciating pain. It probably is the most excruciating pain I've ever
Yeah.
felt. Like for like a quick moment, and then after that, it
Yep.
just burns, and it burns so much it's like numb. It's hard to
Yep.
describe, but yeah, that was crazy,
Yep.
man. Yeah, definitely a speedy recovery for him. I wish
Yeah.
him that for sure.
Prayers up.
You want to
But
beat them the best. You want to beat teams fully healthy, so there's no excuse. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
as a Knicks fan, one of the biggest y'all all know. I don't wish that he got hurt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not happy that he's not able to finish the series. I wish he was there so that we could beat him too.
yeah. Yes. I think any solid fan of any sport, I don't think you're going to wish for an injury.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I think we all understand that injuries are part of the game. So, like, at this point,
absolutely.
it is what it is. Like, the Knicks aren't going to say, you know what? Let's hold off
Yeah,
on this series until 2025 when Jason gets
yeah.
back,
Let's
and then let's,
pause.
like, bro, no, he's out. It's terrible. Get well soon. We still got business to take care of. So
Definitely
it was 2-2. Or no, it was 3-1.
3-1. Yeah,
And the Knicks went up to Boston, and I truly thought the Knicks would rally to win
me
this
too.
game, to win game 5.
Me too.
But at the same time, I could see the Tatum injury being like a galvanizing thing for the team, and that's
For
kind of what
sure.
we saw. We saw, Derek White came out shooting the lights out.
Scorch him.
Jalen Brown,
Scorch him.
yeah, everybody was playing
Yeah,
well on that team, and like while I did think the Knicks would take care of business, I can't say that I'm surprised that the
yeah,
Boston Celtics at home, considering everything that's going on, came out and showed out. So
for sure.
I guess my first question to you, as our resident Knicks fan, do you have any concerns game 6 and potentially game 7?
Um, my concerns are how they're defending the threes. That's really my main concern because that's the only way they can beat us is on nights like
I
last night where all the
absolutely
threes
agree.
are falling. My focus and Tibbs' focus should be how do we contest all of these and make them all more difficult threes. They're shooting wide open shots. That's we want to. How do we reduce the number of open threes that we're giving up? And to me, the answer is like the helping. I like you want to help on defense when there's drivers and cutters, but like you got to understand that these guys aren't driving with the intention of getting to the rim. They're driving with the intention to draw
To
another
kick,
defender, which they're
yeah,
doing to kick out for a three. So understanding that now going into the sixth game, you jab at them, just hedge. Don't go full way. Don't jump all the way just to cut them off. Make these guys like there's other things that they can do to to change this thing and continue to switch everything on defense because that especially Derek White, especially Peyton Pritchard, these guys love to shoot off the screen. They don't care where it is if they want to shoot off the screen. So come up and meet him at that point high. Don't give him 4 feet and think he's coming in. He's not going to drive. They want the three. They
yep,
want the three. Derek White is not going to come off a pick and roll and come off a screen and downhill you. He's going to come off that thing and with any speed, any bit of space that he has, he's got a quick release. He's pulling it. Same with Payne Pritchard. He's coming off that thing left or right with any space. He's pulling it. And they want that. They want that. So it's about little tweaks at this point in the series. When you get late into a series, it's little tweaks. Offensively for the Knicks, it's got to move more. The ball has to move more. There's too much isolation. And for the love of God, get creative about how you get Carl Anthony Towns the ball. Yes, we
it's
could
so
put him on a
frustrating
wing.
watching that.
It's very frustrating. Yes, we could put him on a wing and we could say, here, have an ISO, do what you want. But he's not either athletically gifted enough to just win all the time or anything like that, blowing by guys. So that's not how you use him. You don't put he's a good post player, he has good post moves, but he's not like a guy you can just give to him on a block and go back to the basket. Also, they're not calling any fouls for him. So understanding that where we are, like he's only shot like 6 free throws the whole series. He's only made 2 threes the whole series. We're 5 games in, or six going to game 6. So these are the things. Like he's one of the greatest. He's self-proclaimed one of the greatest shooting bigs of all time. We got to find a way to get him in actions. Again, I said this at the start of the series. Get him in pick and roll actions with Jalen. Get him in pick and roll actions with Josh Hart. Get him in pick and roll actions high up, high pick and roll actions with all those guards. Mikal Bridges too. He's a guy who can handle coming off the screen. Let them make a decision. Put more pressure on him. Make that other guy. Make them switch, or get a small guy on times. Then take him to the basket, or make them not switch, and then they leave him open for an easy three, wide open. And you drive and you take 2 guys with you and kick it back to him. They got to start using the way that Boston's playing them against them. You can't allow them to defend Josh Hart with a center and
Yeah.
so that they could defend other guys like Jalen with bigger guys. You can't let them do that. So, look, if that means that they're defending Hart with a center, that means that Cat is being defended by a forward, which that's an advantage us. We need to be able to capitalize on those things. So yeah, they're not really concerns. It's just little tweaks that they got to make. But the main concern for me is making these, reducing the number of open threes. That is what's
Yeah.
killing us, and the
So
offense
I
is too stagnant.
so I absolutely agree with the 3 pointers. Again, we talked about it last week. Boston took and made the most 3 pointers in a season in NBA history. Like that is their game. That's how
That's
they
their game.
play. That's how they win. That's how they won a championship last year. All fine and well. I get that. My frustration, and I'm not even a Knicks fan. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm here for the ride. But watching Cat, I don't know if it was Game 5 or Game 4 or a bunch of them, but they had Jason Tatum guarding Cat. And like I understand, like is Cat a dominant a post player? He can be at times, but no, like
Right.
he's a spread. He'll shoot the threes. He can shoot the midi. Like he's able to do all those things. But in my mind, I'm like, you've got a smaller defender on you. You've got a smaller defender on you who's the best player on their team.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go there and make him feel every possession. Like even
Yeah.
if you're not getting a touch, to get him on the block and
Yeah.
make Jason Tatum or whoever it is guard you, make them guard you. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I just felt like it was a missed opportunity at the time because
Me
I'm
too.
like, like you're so big. Even if you're not going to sit there and try to back him down and dominate him in the post, if he's having to body up with you for 48, that's going to weigh on him in that game and moving forward. And I just feel like I mean, I guess to your point, it's a lot of settling. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, like
The
give it
offense
to
is
Cat
coming
on
too
the
hard. Yeah.
wing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it shouldn't be. And again, they play very different styles of offense, and I
Very different.
understand that. But you gotta take what the defense is giving you as well. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah.
Al Horford. It's not like Jason Tatum guarding Cat in the paint. Like, come on, bro, get him into foul
Exactly.
trouble, or
All that.
just make him feel you. Because again, if I'm Jason Tatum, I don't want to be banging bodies for 40 minutes a game with
Yeah.
somebody that's bigger, stronger, heavier than I am.
It'll
Like,
take its
nah,
toll.
So I think, and this is again, I'm not a Knicks fan. I'm here for the ride. I think the Knicks take care of business, whether it's in Game 6 or Game 7. I just can't see them losing 2 games in
Three
a row
straight. Yeah.
with Boston missing 3 straight. Yeah, with
Yeah.
Boston missing Jason Tatum. Um, could Boston win? Absolutely. I just don't. I think the Knicks will figure out a way to close out this series in the next 2 games.
I
Um,
predict that I predict a highly motivated and energized Jalen Brunson coming into Game 6, being that he fouled out for the first time ever in his playoff
crazy.
career.
Yes.
5 fouls in the third quarter is criminal. I'm not gonna say much about it. I mean, there was other reasons they lost that game. They were 4 of 20 or something like that in the third quarter from the field, but it was exacerbated by the fact that the Celtics were in the penalty for not, or
With
shooting
nine
in the penalty
minutes.
for 9 minutes, nine plus
Yeah.
minutes.
Yep.
And our best player had 5 fouls. Cat had 4 himself. His were
Yep.
legit. Brunson's were a little tough to swallow. It just the game started getting away from those refs a little bit. I think that there was a lot of physicality. We saw blood. We saw pushing.
We
We
did.
saw nut
We,
grabs,
we saw meat
nut
grabbing. Yep.
punches. Yeah, there was nut punches from both sides, knees to
There's a
the
lot going
nuts.
on.
There was a lot. There's a lot. These two cities are not fond of one another,
Yes.
especially in sports. And yeah, we saw it all play out. So I think we get a very motivated Knicks team. Not that they weren't motivated to win Game 5. I just think that this game they're like, nah, they know what could be coming as far as like the scrutiny,
100%.
the pressure
100%.
that you'd be putting on yourself in a Game 7. Like they know they have to come out and play the best game of their season tomorrow night or Friday night. I think they're going
So
to do that. Also,
let me
Jalen
ask you
Brunson be
this.
killing in them Game 6s, man. He's played in like 5 Game 6s in his career or something like that, and his numbers are insane. Like I think he's averaging like 37 points a game in those Game 6s. So he has to go. He had last Game 6 against
Noted.
Detroit. He had 40. Yeah. So let's do it.
So I'm not going to ask you to make a prediction. My assumption is, as a Knicks fan, you have the utmost confidence that you will win one of these next two games. Um, so assuming that happens, and again, this is me saying it. I don't want to jinx you or anything like that. Assuming that happens, how do you feel about your matchup against the Indiana Pacers should we get there for the next round?
I like our chances if we're healthy. As long as we're healthy, we were healthy last year. We walked in there with a corpse, like basically. That Game 7 we played against them last year, we had Hartenstein, and I forget who else even started. That's how deep they went into it. And Brunson played just like a few minutes before he broke his hand.
Yep.
So yeah, like nobody else played. OG was out with a hamstring. Mitch was already
Yep.
out with the foot. Julius was missing with
Yep.
the shoulder. I think
Yep.
it was
Damn. Yeah.
DiVincenzo. Yeah, everybody was out. It was like DiVincenzo. I forget the starting line. It was a lot. They were deep in the lineup. But yeah, I think that they're gonna be they'll fare well against Indiana. They played well against them this season. I think that the physical style we play is a different brand than what they've seen in these playoffs so far. And I think that at the end of the day, Jalen Brunson. That's
That's
really it.
fair.
I just feel it.
That's fair.
Everything he's doing in these playoffs, and this has Boston series really hasn't even been that great. He's really only had like one or two great games,
Yeah.
like full 48s.
Yeah.
But
No,
not
he's
even
been
really
great in
like
the fourth, but yeah,
yeah, it's in the fourth quarter that he's been really doing his damage. So yeah, man, I think if we could get there, if we could get through this in Boston or with Boston, then it gives us a great shot. I'm not counting out Indiana at all. They definitely have a shot as well, and we got to play these things out. But I like our chances against the Pacers if we
I
get
like
there.
it. I like it. Let's get out of here. We got a game to watch tonight. OKC Denver. We'll
Yes,
see if
who you
OKC can
got?
take care of business. And I mean, I had OKC all year, so I'm gonna ride with them. I'm gonna say they close it out tonight in Denver. Um, yeah, I think they take care of business. What about you?
I think Denver. I think Denver hangs on for one more. They're at home.
Yeah,
That you know the altitude. You know how it be up there. It's like a small thing, but like I just think the energy, the pace is gonna be up. I think that I think Jokic. He's gonna put on. It's gonna be an incredible performance from him tonight,
okay.
and I think that those other guys will pick him up too. Aaron Gordon has been phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Yes.
Phenomenal. Like he looks like a completely different player. So I think that they
Oh,
get one more out of these role players for the Nuggets, one more good one to keep this thing alive, and Jokic gives us a gem to remember. And I think the Nuggets win close late.
I like it. I like it. We'll see what happens in that game. We already know some of the other. I mean, we know the two other teams that have moved on to the next round. The Knicks game tomorrow, Friday, May
Tomorrow
16th.
night, yep, Friday. Yep, yep.
Okay. So we'll be locked in for that. We'll see how that turns out, and we'll be back with y'all. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see. We got to figure out schedule. Maybe we'll jump on early next week.
Yeah,
Um,
because I think the conference finals East will start no matter what. They start Wednesday, the 21st, I think.
Okay.
I th-
So yeah, we'll
Yeah,
try
I
and
think.
jump on before then and
Yeah,
just
yeah.
get our thoughts and see how it goes. But yeah, I'm excited, man. It's
Yes, sir.
if the Celtics do lose, if the Knicks end up um taking care of the Celtics and moving on to the next round, we are going to get a brand new champion, which is something
That's
cool.
pretty cool. That's
I
pretty
shouldn't
cool.
say that. We need OKC to get through as
Yeah,
well. But
Denver,
OKC
Denver.
and the
Yeah.
Knicks, if you guys get through, then brand new championship, and
We're
it's
talking about a couple first franchise first. We're talking about
yes,
all franchise. Well, for the Knicks first in a long time. Pacers,
yeah,
it'll be a franchise first. OKC, it'd
yep,
be a franchise
OKC,
for well, since they've been in OKC, because
yep,
Seattle, that was like tape delayed in the '70s, and then the Timberwolves,
Minnesota,
they never
yeah,
done it. They were an
yeah,
expansion team, so they never had it. So yeah,
yep,
man. I mean that's pretty cool for the NBA. These
I
are
agree,
great fan bases too. I've
yeah,
Minnesota has been locked in the fan base out there. Their games have sounded incredible. They deserve it, man. They went through a lot of sad times too. They know about it, like just how the Knicks know about it, man. Those years of sadness. So yeah,
yes,
I'm happy for them. Excited for my guys, Julius and Dante over there doing their thing. And Edwards, one of my favorite players in the NBA. I just love
agree,
watching this kid play basketball, man.
agree.
He is the next level. Whether he likes it or not, he's the face of the league.
Keep your meat in your pants, Anthony.
Yeah, man. That's it. Just like, yo, these guys
I
are
mean,
crazy.
or
These
don't. I
guys are
mean,
crazy.
but wrap it up, please.
Yeah, just
I
like
mean,
you guys got to be more careful. It's not enough because you can't just be like, oh, I could pay for it, like I could pay the child support. But
yeah,
yeah, like you want the kid to be like with you in your life. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just
yes,
be paying for a kid. You know, it's like that's what
exactly.
the thing is. When you're young like that, you're like, whatever, I got it, and then just pay her off. Nah, man, the kid need his dad too. So make sure you
Yep,
handle your business.
yep,
When you
yep, yep.
handling your business, think about handling your business afterwards.
Let's get out of here. I am Johnell. I'm with my guy Matt Price, Cash Walk In, and this is Heat Check powered by Designated Report. We will be back with y'all next week. Make sure you tune in to all of the NBA playoffs. Oh, and the WNBA kicks off
Oh
tomorrow,
yes, yeah. I need
Friday,
an
May
update on Sean
16th.
from that media day. I wish I knew about media
Yeah,
day. He didn't. Were you up there?
I wasn't. Nah,
You didn't go. So you
I
didn't go
wasn't.
either. He just went on his own. Didn't tell nobody.
It was.
Scott,
I
I
mean,
could have
it
took
was
off
Zoom.
work.
It was Zoom. It
Oh,
was Zoom.
what? I could have used that link. I
I
had
mean,
questions for the new coach. I'm gonna get up
we
there anyway.
got you.
I gotta send you.
We
I
got
gotta
you
send you that.
moving forward.
Yeah, I gotta send you that script. I got a little script of the
Yeah.
games I want. We'll see what happens.
All right. But
First one
let's
Sunday,
get
right?
out of here. What happened?
Yeah. Their
First
first
game
one Sunday,
Sunday.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get out of here. A lot of basketball. We're locked in. You're
Yes.
locked in. We
Yes.
love it. Let's go Knicks.
Let's go Knicks. Knicks in 6, baby.
Let's get it.